What's going on, guys? Charge it up here with the R6 in the garage. Let's talk about battery management. Let's go. Alright guys, for this video I'm going to show you exactly what I do when it comes to battery management for when it's time to store the R6 for the winter season. So as many of you may know, the R6 battery is located just underneath the seat right over here. So in order for me to get at the seat, we're going to have to take the seat off, which is held on by two bolts over here and over here. We'll take those off and it will get at the battery. Okay, seat is off and we're at the battery. Super simple with the R6. Luckily it's located right underneath the seat, not some stupid other area like underneath the gas tank, like on some models. Anyways, so batteries right here. There are actually two good options for keeping your battery healthy and ready for the next riding season. Let's go through those two options. Option number one would be the obvious one here is to obviously take the battery out. Two battery bolts there, obviously disconnect everything that's connected to it, take the battery out, and then we would bring it over here to our charger right here, the Optimate 7. It's on my wall here. So we got the two chargers, we got the alligator clips, and then we just plug it in and it sits here and it charges over winter time. Not only does it charge, but it obviously maintains it and keeps it nice and healthy over the winter season, ready for next season. Option number two would be to leave the battery in the bike as is, and then you take one of these guys right here, and it's a battery lead. Right over here, these two portions go on the battery, or like that, obviously make sure it's positive or negative. And then this portion right here would then obviously go to a certain portion of the bike. You would try to hide it here and there, and then that way, once you have that on the bike and installed, this can get plugged then into this portion right here, but then you obviously have to run an extension to it. However, with the setup I have, I previously did do that with the Gixxer, is obviously I had a cable running across with that guy right there. However, because I do have the space around here that I walk around here, not only when the cars are parked, but obviously I still go back and forth and do stuff here on a counter, I'm actually going to take the battery out. I'm going to take the battery out and it's going to be placed right here. I'm going to clean this up here. It'll be placed right here, and then that will be maintained throughout the season. The Optimate 7 is currently what I have on my wall here, and obviously it charges the battery. However, there are a couple options. I previously used to use the battery tender version right here. It used to be plugged in, and then this portion here would be plugged into my Gixxer, and then that would obviously allow me to plug it into the battery tender, which obviously then kept the battery nice and stabilized through the winter season. So you do have a couple options out there, but in my opinion, I think battery tender and Optimate are the best. All right, got my area here cleaned up. The battery will just sit right over here. It's gonna stay there. Got my number 2 Phillips screwdriver. One thing to remember, guys, when it comes to the battery and you're taking the battery out, remove the negative first. Remove the black negative first, and then the positive. And then when you're putting the battery in, you add the positive first and the negative second. All right, so the two bolts are out of there. And now we're gonna just grab the rubber piece right there, push that out of the way, and grab the battery out. All right, battery is out. And actually, before I do that, I'm actually gonna put the bolts back in. The little tiny screws, I'm gonna put them back in, and I'm gonna clean up the battery a tiny bit before I put it to charge. All right, got the battery cleaned up, got the two bolts in there, and honestly, the main reason I do it, and probably the only reason I do it, is so I just don't lose them, and they just stay in there. So we got our positive to positive, and I grab the negative side, bloop, and there you go. And right now the Optimate, since it's connected, it is testing. It'll test for a little while, and then it'll jump over to maintain, and it'll actually maintain the battery. So right now it's optimizing and it's charging it. And then once obviously it's charged, it'll go to maintain. And that's how I'm gonna leave my battery until the next riding season. All right, so I've got the seat and the two bolts here without any battery in the bike. So I'm gonna put the two bolts back and the seat on. All right, seat is on. The two bolts are in their place. Hand tight only. I mean, obviously I can just get at it with my hand if I need to. And that is it. There are countless amount of people, and I mean countless amount of people that message me during springtime about, hey, my bike won't start for some reason. And then they send me videos of it not starting. They send me a video of it cranking over and everything. It just will not start. And they're like, well, I haven't ridden it. What the hell's going on? What's happening? And I'm like, well, did you put your battery on to charge? Or what has been happening to your battery through the entire winter season? They're like, well, it's just been sitting in the bike. Well, unfortunately, your bike is probably dead, and that's probably the issue. Believe it or not, guys, it is a 100% true story. I've had at least 2 or 3 people message me on a yearly basis when it comes to springtime. And 95% of the time, the reason your bike isn't starting, and probably higher than 95, but I'll just say 95% of the time your bike isn't starting after your winter season, it's probably because of your battery. Go back to your basic and start from the battery. All right, guys, that's a quick video with what I do with the battery for the winter season and to maintain it over the winter season. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button if you did. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell for future videos with the R6. Into the next one, guys.